Source: CTV Television Network, a Canadian news organization, conducted an investigation on China and its economic development. The investigative series was called Made in China. The CTV staff published an article titled Chinese Economic Growth at a Cost. Pollution Poisons Lakes, Rivers, and Skies. The article was published on April 12, 2014. Chinese economic growth at a cost. Pollution poisons lakes, rivers, and skies. Paragraph number 1. There was a time, as China began opening to the world in the early 1980s, when the sign of success was for a family to have a bicycle and an electric light. The streets of Beijing, the country's capital, teemed with cyclists. Few cars filled wide avenues. Hazy days meant winter winds had blown desert sands into the sky over the capital. Paragraph 2. Today, those same streets are jammed with the new sign of China's upwardly mobile middle class, automobiles. Beijing has 20 million residents, 5 million cars, and a huge pollution problem. Paragraph number 3. Power plants burn coal to produce electricity. Cars pump their fumes into the air. And in nearby Hebei province, steel mills add to the toxic soup that settles over Chinese capital, particularly in winter. Paragraph 4. Bad air here means inhaling an Arctic soup of coal smoke made of sulfur, nitrogen, and carbon monoxide. The tiniest particles, the ones 2.4 micrometers in size, called PM 2.5, are the biggest worry. They can go deep into the lungs, and studies show they may even cause cancer. Acrid is having an irritatingly strong and unpleasant taste or smell. Paragraph number 5. On bad air days, hospitals fill with complaints of headaches, sore throats, and what is known as the Beijing cough. Paragraph 6. The World Health Organization warns that long-term exposure to PM 2.5 density of more than 25 is a risk. Big cities everywhere have it. In the United States, average readings are 12 in Washington, D.C. and Baltimore, 14 in New York City, and Los Angeles is 20. In Beijing, it's 90. Paragraph 7. During last winter's airpocalypse, the air quality index went above 800. More recently, in Harbin, a Chinese city with a population of 10 million, the index crossed 1,000. It was so bad, traffic was stopped, while schools and the airport were shut. Paragraph 8. Since polluted air in Chinese cities is a result of economic growth, Western consumers are just as much to blame as upwardly mobile Chinese. Paragraph 9. China is bearing the environmental cost for much of the world because China is the factory of the world, said Ma Jun, the country's foremost environmentalist activist. We're manufacturing to meet the demands of our own people, but in the meantime for the entire world as well, and that definitely put a lot of extra pressure on our environment. Paragraph 10. We traveled to see the heartland of China's factories, the Yangtze River Delta. Here, one can find thousands of factories that make and export almost everything, from chemicals to car batteries to clothes. Many of the items find their way to the store shelves in the United States. Paragraph number 11. But those consumer goods for both China and the entire world come at a cost. We watched factory waste gushing directly into the Kuantang River, where a toxic haze rising above the discharge burned eyes and throats. Local residents, fearful of police, privately told us of underground pipes that discharge waste unseen. Those who complain are arrested. Paragraph number 12. From poisoned lakes and rivers to polluted skies in Beijing, China is facing an environmental crisis.